when I'm talking about sketch writing, it doesn't really matter about the length of the sketch. Like rule number one is come up with a concept. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so the concept, if you've got like a basic concept of a sketch, that can actually tell you how long your sketch is going to be.
This is episode 100 of the Arts Academy podcast with Victor Varnado and Roxxy Haze. How to write sketch comedy.
Yeah.
All right,
Woo.
everybody. Welcome to the Arts Academy podcast. I am Dean Victor Varnado. This is Headmistress Roxxy Haze here
That's me.
That is you. We are here to educate you on the mechanics of being in the entertainment industry. We had a request recently to do an episode about how to write sketch comedy. So let's not hesitate and let's get to it. Who do you know who requested this?
Yes, Andre. Wait, I had it up. Andre.
Is your mic on?
Yeah, can you hear me?
There you go. Now you're in your mic. Okay.
Yeah, let me turn it up some more. Wait, is that good?
Well, no, I think it's good now that you're that close. It's great.
Hello, everybody.
It's too loud.
Oh God, is it?
Yeah, it was too loud.
Andre, let me just pull it up. Well, I just keep saying Andre. Here we go. Andre Lamont Churchwell Jr.
Andre Lamont Churchwell Jr. That is quite the name. And thanks for requesting how to write sketch comedy. Let's talk about how to write sketch comedy. And so before we actually get into how to write sketch comedy, let's tell a little bit about, kind of where we are on our sketch comedy writing road.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I actually used to be the director of the Chicago City Limits, which is actually in New York back in the day. I used to be the director of their touring company and the director of and as part of the director of the touring company, I would often direct people in improv and in sketches. And I also taught sketch writing for them. And I also taught a sketch writing class, I believe, at IO before, or was it just an improv class? But whatever. I did a lot of sketch stuff. I also have written sketches and gags for different TV shows. Some TV shows I was on where I would write sketches for them. For instance, like when I worked on True TV, Hack My Life, that was like a comedy DIY show. So we would write sketches for that. And I've also written sketches. I've been part of like sketch writing rooms for like movies that have like a bunch of random sketches in it. Like Eric Andre's Bad Trip. With Little Rel Howery. Little Rel. And Tina Haddish. Back before she was chasing them kids.
Oh my God. All right. And so I wrote and produced my own digital sketch show. I had a couple episodes. It was funny. I've written some gags for stuff. I did one for I was in the writer's room for Bring Back Laughs. I've written some sketches and like shorts for Mattel. And I've written just in development with Nickelodeon.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah. And so but anyway, even so, everybody out there, I encourage you to take what we say with a grain of salt, because nobody knows what works for you more than you. But here is our advice on how to write sketches. All right. Now, I could tell you a lot about the sketch. In fact, why don't we do this? I have a concept for a sketch, and why don't we use that as an example? So here's my concept for a sketch. I just want to do a sketch. This is a video sketch, but this also could be a sketch done on stage, I guess. But this is for a video sketch, but this is about writing sketch comedy. So here we go. So this concept is a video comedy sketch that's a fake movie trailer, and all it is you just zooming in on like dramatic actors, like in a dramatic pose, like Susan Sarandon holding her son who's dying in her arms, and then she's like crying, and then as the movie comes in, it's like Susan Sarandon in her best role ever, and it's just her looking at the camera going, "Give me an Oscar!" And then you keep going to other people, and it's all them doing like, Robert De Niro in the role that made him great, and he's like going to the camera, "You give me an Oscar!" And just all actors like overacting and just with dubbed over their voices, "Give me an Oscar."
That's what it is, though.
I think it's a funny sketch. All right, but so this is actually a sketch that I'm going to do. I'm just going to cut together I'm going to cut together big scenes from movies and then just redub over their voices, them yelling, "Give me an Oscar." It's pretty simple to make. And so, so that's like the basic concept. It tells us a lot about the sketch. Do you have any sketches that you can talk about that you have the basic concept of?
Yeah, I actually am. I working on one where I'm making. I do a lot of parody stuff, so I'm doing
Okay.
like a parody of old CW shows.
Okay.
So it's like this one specific song that's playing. It's like that. I don't even remember. It's called "Making Damn Sure." I can't remember the chorus right now, but it's just like a collection of kind of the same thing, like dramatic scenes that are happening, but they're all like how they used to overact in those CW shows. So like somebody sliding down the wall and somebody's car blowing up and somebody getting cheated on. It's all of that, but I'm playing all of the characters. So that's the concept for my parody of old 2000 CW songs, shows.
Do you make these already?
I'm working on this one now.
It sounds really funny. I like it.
Thank you.
Okay, so great. So simple concept, and that also tells you like the length of this. That tells you like the length of the sketch, the format. It tells you a lot about what it is. Just coming up with a basic concept. Now, a lot of people say that step number 2 is to develop characters, but it also depends on the sketch. I mean, for instance, the sketch that I just wrote, it's not really about developing characters. It's more about like this particular just one joke over and over again. And then for what you just described, I guess that you are, it's more of like a recreation. But if you're doing a sketch, like for instance, I've done a sketch before where the concept was 2 people at a restaurant, and the woman is asking how much stuff is on the menu, and the waitress is answering her by saying, a steak costs, making out and going to bed with him, like basically just like it costs intimacy, like if this guy is buying your meal. And so that was like a sketch. And in that case, I had to decide like what the personalities of the characters in the sketch, whether the guy, the girl, the waitress, like I had to decide like what their point of view is, because that actually makes it much easier to create scenes and write dialogue when you know who those people are. Okay. Sketch writing, don't forget, is writing. So a lot of people think that sketch writing means like characters. Who cares? I don't have to deal with that. No, it's all writing. Yes. Then next up usually is kind of like create a structure. Would you agree with that?
Yes. Like kind of laying out the beginning, middle, and end of what's going to happen with your sketch. And I think that I'm just going to throw this in there too real quick. I think that's kind of what separates like sketches from skits. Like a lot of stuff that you'll see online, they're not really doing a sketch, they're doing a skit. It's just kind of like one character and they're just like talking. It's not necessarily like a story. A sketch is a story.
I think that the difference between sketch and skit is semantics.
I love semantics, baby.
I don't
even come around here with them little skits. All right.
Because if people are like, is that a sketch or a skit? I'm like, I don't know.
It's been defined.
Really? By who?
Theater.
By theater.
Yeah. By the theater.
Where does he live?
New York.
Anyway, I who knows? Maybe it's sketch and skit. I don't know for sure. But even the skit has a structure. Even a sketch, everything has a structure. There's something. Like I wouldn't say that the concept that I had was a well-developed sketch, but it definitely does have a structure. And then that's what I have to figure out. I have to figure out like, how am I going to represent this? Am I going to, is it going to be, just shots of people yelling? Is there going to be a preamble? I basically what I described those. I think with the structure that I'm going to go with my sketch is I'm going to like have it start like a real movie trailer, like Susan Sarandon in her greatest role ever, and then just have people just yelling, "Give me an Oscar!" And then I'm going to probably end up researching a lot of dramatic movie trailers. All right. So you've got the structure, okay, and the idea. Hopefully, the basic idea is funny. If it's not, then you definitely want a funny script. Um, the goal is always the same for me in writing comedy, which is I want people to feel the same thing that I felt when I first thought of the idea. So, like, whatever it takes to get people to giggle the same way you giggle, or when you think of the funniest version of your sketch, like how hard you're laughing in your head. Like, I'm always like, whatever it takes to get people to feel that. That's what I try to do with any sketch that I do.
Mm-hmm.
I being funny is just not something that you can teach because maybe your sense of humor is trash. You never know. So hopefully you're funny. But I guess the idea is, when you're writing your dialogue, try to avoid cliches. Definitely experiment with the different types of humor because there's many different styles or ways to like nail it on the head. You could even go down the length of saying like, oh, is it puns? Is it sarcasm? Is it irony? Is it physical comedy? Blah, blah, blah. You could do that, or you could just write something that's funny and not have to actually not decipher. What is the word I'm looking for? Dissect it. You don't have to dissect it. You don't have to dissect it. You can just do something funny. I know that's terrible to say, just do something funny, but am I going to teach you how to be funny right now? No. So good luck, man or woman or whatever.
Yeah. Agree.
Then once you've got your basic ideas together, that's when you go in and you write your script. Of course, you revise that script many times. And if you've got friends to read it with, read it out loud and then revise and refine, because, great way to find out if your sketch is funny by reading it out loud and seeing if it works. In fact, the idea that I just pitched to you for the stupid sketch that I was thinking about, I actually emailed it to like 20 of my comedian friends and was like, hey, what do you think of the sketch idea? Have you seen this before? Et cetera, et cetera. And so, you pick it apart. Now, depending on how you're going to execute this sketch, whether it's on stage or it's on camera, the rehearsal process is different. Rehearsing for camera and rehearsing for the stage are two very different things that I guess we can't fully cover in this video, but
that's a good idea for a video.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But the basic idea is practice. Practice, know your material before you're in front of an audience, or know your material before you're in front of an audience, or before you are before you're in front of a camera, because you don't want to waste everybody's time by being janky.
Yeah.
Janky. That is a real word. Okay, next up, everybody. Finally, if you're doing a sketch, obviously the last section is either filming or performing that sketch. We are going to talk about filming sketch comedy in the next episode. That is our very next episode of this podcast, the Arts Academy podcast that you're listening to right now. Please check us out at artsacademypodcast.com.
I want to say it at the same time.
We didn't, sadly. I mean, I think we're a little
close. I'm gonna edit it so it sounds like we said it together.
Anyway, if we didn't answer all of your questions about writing sketch comedy, then please send them to us. We'd love to answer your questions. Hopefully, we've given you something to start with.
Yes. I do want to throw this in there. Wait, I want to throw this in there real quick. Watch a lot of sketch comedy and analyze it just like with anything else. So whatever your favorite sketch show is, or just like sketches online, watch those because they'll help you kind of understand structure and inspire you to get other stuff.
I absolutely agree with that. 100%. Watch a lot of sketch comedy.
Yeah. Carol Burnett. I love Carol Burnett.
I bet you love Carol Burnett.
She's awesome. Very slapsticky. I like that. I like a slapstick. Who do you like? Give them some recommendations.
Who do I like as far as what?
Like sketch comedy.
Who do I like as far as sketch comedy? I like. Let me think. Who do I like as far as sketch comedy? I mean, to be honest, like as far as like sketch comedy goes, I'm trying to think who I really like.
I like Key and Peele. I'm throwing that out there too. Key and Peele.
Oh, Key and Peele's great. Key and Peele are
they
fantastic.
have so many. They have so many too, and they kind of like dabble in what you said. Like they'll do different types of humor. Like some will be kind of dark. I'll be like, hey, yo, what's going on?
You know what? I don't even think I thought about Key and Peele because I have a bunch of friends who worked on that show, and also did a movie with Jordan Peele, and so like I was thinking of, oh, what show am I a fan of? And I don't think of that show as a show that I'm a fan of because it's by people that I know. And so I wasn't even considering that it's an amazing sketch show. It really is. Like it's one of the best ever.
Yeah.
So, and their videos are still going around the internet.
Yeah. Like I watch the show and there's always another sketch that comes out that I'm like, I've never seen this.
Yeah.
So, and they're always different. Great show.
Yeah. It's really just funny stuff. Awesome.
Watch Key and Peele.
All right, everybody, check us out at artsacademypodcast.com.
.com.
You can find us at artsacademypodcast.com.